Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Martin Show on Tide 100.9, 12:30 a.m. We're live, ready to get things going. Glad you chose to be with us this morning. We'll open up the phone lines at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. We'll also open up the ability for you to add your thoughts, your comments, your questions, your reaction, your responses in the live stream. So either way, you can get in on the conversation with us this morning. So we'd love to have you be a part of the conversation. Once again, that's on the hotline at 205-342-9904, or the reactions there on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, etc. We're glad to have you with us on this beautiful Hump Day edition of the show. It's a Wednesday edition, and remember this is a day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Got a great show lined up for you. We're going to pick up with some of that all SEC conversation. Who do we think got left off, should have been on it, got overlooked, mistakes, wrong place, whatever, angle you want to take, we'll talk about that. I also posted last night a video of Quinnen Williams, and I chose Quinnen Williams because he's the latest in guys who all of a sudden stepped up at, a key point in their career. Really only a 1 year, player from a heavy dosage standpoint, from number of snaps, but was able to accelerate. We've had a couple of those guys that took off in that third year or fourth year. Guys like Quinnen Williams. I could have easily put several other guys in there, that would fit that bill. Darius being one of them, another 3-star. So these guys have just come out of nowhere almost, especially when I think about Williams. He was the one that was my kind of poster child because he was a 3-star out of Birmingham. It just blew up. Just absolutely blew up. So my question was, which one of these defensive linemen on this team has a similar type breakout year? If you go out to the Martin Houston Show on Facebook, you'll see a poll question up there that says, which D lineman will have a breakout year? Jaheim Otis, Tim Smith, Tim Keenan, LT Overton, or someone else? And right now, Tim Smith, we don't have a lot of votes yet, but Tim Smith leading the way with over 50% of the vote. Tim Keenan has 1%, Otis at 28%, and Overton at 14%. So, a couple of guys in there, highly ranked. I think you kind of have anywhere from a 3-star to a 5-star in that list, but we're looking to see which one's going to have that breakout year. Which guy's going to have the breakout year? That's what we want to talk about. Want to get you in on it. Let's bring X in. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir? All right. As we as we move forward this morning, we'll see what's going on with X. He's not there. We'll get him worked into the conversation. I want to ask you, like I said, those same questions. When we look at the all SEC team, how you feeling about that? And then, of course, the breakout player. So we'll start with the all SEC team. 16 guys selected. X, just jump in when you're there, so I'll know. The first team guys, 16 of them, but only 5 on the first team. So let's go look at the first team guys. Tyler Booker on the offensive line. Defense, you have Deontay Lawson and Malachi Moore on the defense. Then you have James Barnup and Neelan Hibbett. I always laugh. I mean, I'm not disrespecting. I'm not disrespecting, long snappers. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be a guy, and I'm not knocking him. I'm not knocking him. Please don't hear this. But you know how much disrespect it is for Neelan Hibbett to be first team, and you got a guy like Jalen Miro sitting at 13. That's just that. Just let that sink in for a second. Yeah. Anyway, second team, Caden. It's several things that jump out at me on that first group, based on our conversation here in Tuscaloosa, that if this first team pans out, Alabama's in trouble. All right. Second team, Caden Proctor, returning tackle, who is currently not the starter yet, but looking good in terms of his workouts. I don't know if you saw the picture I posted or not. You have Parker Brailsford at center. Then you have Tim Smith, D-line. Then special teams, you have the Lou Groza award-winning returning kicker as the place kicker on the second team. Then third team, we stacked up on the third team. Look out. Quarterback, Jalen Milroe, running back, Justice Haynes, offensive lineman, Jayden Roberts. And then defense, Tim Keenan, Jahad Campbell, Damani Jackson, and Keon Sabb. So that's the all SEC selections 1 through 3. I don't have a problem with the total number, X. But some of the guys, where they're at, and some of the guys who are not on the list, and some of the parts of the team that's not represented at all, and all of that kind of makes me, scratch my head and go, okay, this is your typical, I just know names and I don't know players, and I'm going to give bias to what the media is saying. So, yeah, we'll start off. X. We'll start off. Let's start off instead of. You want to start off with the third team guys, or you want to start off first team guys?
Let's start off with the third team guys.
Okay,
and work our way up.
All right, all right. So when you look at the 13 guys, third team, Jalen Milroe, Justice Haynes, Jayden Roberts on the offense, Tim Keenan, Jahad Campbell, Damani Jackson, Keon Sabb on the defense. What's the first thing that jumps out at you right there?
The thing that jumps off at me is, of course, Jalen Milroe. When you look at the guy who is the highest returning Heisman finisher. He finished 6th, 1 through 5, all in the NFL or off doing whatever, because I can't remember exactly who the top 5 were. And then you turn around and you look at, he is also the quarterback of the reigning SEC championship team. So he's the highest returning guy for the Heisman. He's the SEC championship winner. We watched the growth and the improvement that he had over the course of last year. And you stick him behind a guy that he beat and a guy that he lost to, but the guy that he lost to is coming into the SEC and has never played an SEC conference game. So that's
Go ahead.
That's just one of those things. It's like, what was the metric? What was the metric? You look at Texas. Texas lost a lot. Texas lost their best wide receiver as well. Sure, they got some transfers in. They lost their best running back. A lot of key players, several other key players on the offense. So if you're knocking Jalen for the guys he lost, why aren't you knocking Quinn?
Yeah. Well,
if you
go ahead.
And the same goes for Carson Beck. When you look at the best offensive lineman, the best weapon in the SEC last year, those guys are gone. Why isn't he getting knocked? He has a bunch of unproven guys. When you really stop and look at the weapons on that offense, so just my thoughts there.
Yeah, and I would look at some of those things in a very similar fashion. You hit several things that I would have said, and then you can also start looking at just stats. I mean, you would think the way people talk, excuse me, that the stats are just so negative toward Jalen. You would think that Jalen is not even close to these guys statistically, right? So let's look at it in order of stats. Beck 39-41. He clearly had more passing yards. And what's his name had 34-79. Okay. And Miro had 28-34. And Miro was benched. So that's one game. So he would have been at 3,000 plus yards. Right. Beck had 24 yards. Touchdowns. Ewers had 22. Miro had 23. All three of them had 6 touchdowns. QBR rating, 86 for Beck. Let's see. 78.3 for Ewers and 80.5 for Miro. And I haven't even looked at Jalen's rushing yards. I should have looked at that. But
he had 500 rushing, over 500 rushing yards,
almost 500. So if
you
go ahead.
But he had 12 rushing touchdowns. I think Beck had 4. I don't think Ewers had any. So when you look at total yards, total touchdowns, Jalen clears.
Yeah, the total yards gets really close because now what's his name is right at almost the same yards per game. Miro total yards, and that's the way it counts. It doesn't. People tickle me when he ran for this many. Well, you know what? If he hadn't ran for some of those, we wouldn't have won the game. So that helps. And clearly, he had the worst OC, the least consistency, 49 sacks, and several other things that's just glaring. And I'm like, how do you get there with this? So we're gonna pick. Alan's gonna on the line. We're gonna come back on the other side, and I'm gonna tell you, somebody's gonna have to convince me on Carson Beck. Because there's something that I want someone to call me up or on behalf of somebody tell me what game did Carson Beck have to ball out and he was the difference maker for Georgia. Let's see which guy. Yeah, Quinn Ewers won the game in Tuscaloosa, but did which guy got better from that point on? Did Ewers take a huge step forward, or was he still playing about the same at the end of the year as he was at that point? And did Jalen Milroe grow? And did you take it into account? So we'll talk about those. We'll talk about the other guys. We won't spend as much time on the other guys, I'm sure, as we just did on Milroe, because Milroe is one of the disrespects. I think Milroe should have been at least second, if not first. And of the guys, I think you could put Ewers and Milroe on other teams, and they would be good. Those teams would still be good. I don't know that you can put Carson back in any offense or any team. We'll talk about it on the other side right here on the Martin Houston Show.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We begin this Wednesday morning drive with a traffic light out. This is happening at 15th Street and 10th Avenue. This has been the case now for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Still appears to be ongoing. No big accidents or breakdowns dotting the board, though. 2059 is in good shape between Foster's and Cottondale with no big problems along the way. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
What's the best position on the wheel? 10 and 2. Townsend Nissan's got the best position for buying a vehicle. $2,000 to $10,000 in discounts now. No other dealer in town can do that. Townsend Nissan.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Hey y'all, I'm Steve Azar inviting you to escape to Pearl River Resort where the fun is going non-stop. Enjoy gaming excitement and catch the thrill of the big win. After the thrills, test your skills at the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. There's dining delight and love at first sight. And it's always no work and all play at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos. So come on, leave it all behind and head to Pearl River Resort.
Pros, now's your chance to find the deals you need during Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 20% off select Werner and Little Giant ladders. Plus, save $60 on a DeWalt 20-volt Max 2-tool combo kit. Was $229, now $169. Shop the brands you trust in-store or online today. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Valid through 7/26. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly cloudy, occasional showers and thunderstorms are likely today and tonight. The high today 83, tonight's low 71. For tomorrow, cloudy at times with scattered to numerous showers and thunderstorms around. The high 85. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We're live, local, ready to get things rolling right here in your home for Alabama sports. You can get in on it at 205-342-9904, or you can add your thoughts, comments, and questions, reactions in on the chat. Don't forget to check out the officially licensed Martin Houston Alabama Legacy Collection and more. Go to athletesthread.com. That's athletesthread.com. Remember the word collections. It's the Martin Houston Collection. Collection with an S, Martin-Houston, put the dash. And that's athletesthread.com/collections/Martin.Houston. And you can check out the officially licensed Martin Houston Alabama Legacy Collection and a lot more. The only place you can get it is right there on that website. So, and hey, listen, it's the old school, new school NIL for us old folk. So I'm leaning in on it. Hopefully I can show these young guys what it means to have NIL. Don't be out here just waiting on somebody to pay you. Go out there and make some money by creating your own brand image and utilization of your name. So appreciate your support. I'm looking forward to it. And thanks for being a part of it. And hey, share it. You know what I mean? Share that logo, with your listening, your friends, etc. Share that website. If you on the chat, then of course is posted in the chat. So, X, before we get back to the conversation regarding Miro, Alan's been patient, so we're going to bring Alan in for his conversation. Then we'll circle back on that. Alan, you're in. What's up?
Good morning. First of all, I want to say Carson Beck, who? I forgot who that guy was, but anyway, that's
yeah. I mean, answer that question, Alan. Georgia was better than everybody they played last year. They had won, 50 games in a row?
Something like that, yeah.
So tell me, what game did Carson Beck ball out? I mean, some people try to use the Auburn game. I was like, he threw the ball short to the tight end. You could pick the tight end and say Bowers balled out against Auburn, but it wasn't some this unbelievable. He threw to the guy he always threw to. They just couldn't tackle Beck. And when he did hit him on a down the field pass, he was always wide open. I'm like, hey, Auburn, that dude right there, you might want to cover him. That one right there. He was running wide open. And then when you get to the Alabama game, what did he do?
Nothing.
He threw about 4 interceptions that got dropped, as Curtis Moore II said.
I mean, there is not one game I saw him play that he took the team on his back and say, hey, y'all, I got this. Y'all just follow me. Not one game did I see him doing that. Not one game. And, I just don't see anything people seeing him. Excuse me. I'm out here on the West Coast right now, and I'm telling everybody I'm doing my last hurrah because I'm retiring. And they're, all of them, it's just so much hate against Alabama. It's not even funny. It is. I told them, I said, look, y'all don't want to see me. I said, I don't come out west in the wintertime. I said, but if Bama win, I said, I'm really gonna do a farewell tour. I'm coming out here in the wintertime. Y'all don't want to see me. Y'all better stay in your offices. Y'all do not want to see me when I come into the doors. Y'all be unloading my truck last because I'm gonna talk so much smack that y'all gonna hate me when I come out here.
Hey, so, Alan, do me a favor. Get you one of these legacy hoodies for the winter time. I don't know if it ever gets cold.
Oh, you know what? It does. I'm in Oregon.
Okay, you're up the West Coast. You're all the way up.
Mexico.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm all the way out here. That's why I haven't been calling in the last couple of days because the time difference on me. But I got up this morning. But I had to call in this morning. But it's just so much hate. And they just don't understand, they keep saying Bama fell off. I'm understand. Please make me understand, how did we fall off? We got the coach that went to the national championship last year and almost won. He came within a couple of plays of winning it all. Where did we fall off at? Please explain that to me. And all of them just look crazy.
And the reality of it is, the other side of it is, didn't we make it to the semifinals?
Exactly.
And lost to the national championship in overtime on a last-second play. I mean, I just don't get where, the falling off for us is that we don't win national championships. Success for everybody else would be doing what we did against Georgia and against Michigan.
Right.
So.
And one more thing I wanted to say, there was a time, not too long ago, that everybody, at Christmas time, everybody just praying for a kicker. Them days, it seems like so far gone. And then we got a kicker that's actually making the SEC. All the SEC team. They've been doing it for the last couple of years, but not too long ago, that's the only thing we wanted. Coach Saban, can you not go get a kicker? We would look like Charlie Brown out there and Lucy, trying to kick the football. And I don't know what changed. Why could we do that the whole time? I'm still trying to figure out what changed where we didn't have a kicker. It still mystifies me.
I tell you what happens is the last 5 years we've had the same dude, and he was from Birmingham. That's what it was. But now what do you think? If you're a kicker and you see what he did, doesn't that make you want to come here too? Just like if you want to get a bunch of yards receiving, you go to the school that what? throw the ball
Yeah,
a
good
lot.
quarterback that throw the ball.
If our
right.
kicker is scoring the most points, that means we're scoring a lot of touchdowns and kicking a lot of field goals. So if you want to be one of the high-ranked kickers that shows your skill set and has the most film on the different types of kick, Alabama's now that plays. That's how we get a guy named Graham Nicholson. So
and one more thing, what I want to say. I tell you what, if Texas thinks everything is all good right now, you let that quarterback, I can't say his name, but you let him have 2 or 3 bad games and watch him ask for that man's head, and everybody be wanting man to come in. He has not did nothing yet, but they're gonna be calling for that guy to be switched out the same way they did for Alabama. Watch and see will that not happen if that dude has one. I only would say 2 bad games. I'm gonna say 1 bad game, and they'll be begging for man to come in.
I can see that. They may be begging for it anyway. Thanks, Alan.
All
right. Thanks. Hey, X, on the Beck Carson situation, right? Carson Beck and Ewers. Ewers had a great game against Alabama because Stark knows Alabama's defense. Did Ewers ball out like that against anybody else? I mean, no. Here's my point, though. He went from the first game against Alabama to the last game against Alabama without a pass over 20 yards.
Yep.
And so Alabama had according to coach, and I knew he was really good, we had the top 3 deep ball thrower in the country. He was top 3 is what coach said, like top 2 or 3. Milroe was behind his guy, Penix, and I don't know who else. Think about how little we use that. We had the most electric runner potentially in the country, but probably only second, if you're going to make an argument, to the guy who won the Heisman. So he had one area that he needed to improve on, and that was the short pass, right? And I don't know that they ever even improved that with him. But if that's improved, you're gonna use him on his legs, and you're gonna use a deep ball like Washington did offensively. How do you not look at Milroe and go, Beck has the same offensive coordinator, Ewers has the same offensive coordinator, so chances are, if they have a good season, it's going to be a repeat of last year. If Milroe, who has a new offensive coordinator, who is clearly better offensive scheme-wise, everything around him is better, offensive line, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends, everything. How do you not give him an expectation that because he's already right there with them, total yards, more touchdowns, QBR very close, higher than one, close to the other one. How do you not make that guy number 1? That's the crazy part for me. Let's get George on, and then actually he wants to talk about what we were talking about, so we'll just carry him over to the other side. You listen to the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on top 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC. Don't forget, follow the Martin Houston Show. Man, we're live, local, and ready to get things rolling. It's the Sound of Alabama Sports, your show, your team.
Hi, I'm Gene Poole.
And I'm John Poole of Hudson Poole Fine Jewelers.
Show your crimson pride with officially licensed University of Alabama jewelry from Hudson Poole.
From elegant Spirit A logo rings and earrings
to elephant pendants and garnet rings, our collection shines in a variety of finishes.
University of Alabama jewelry from Hudson Poole Fine Jewelers is an ideal gift for any student, alum, or fan.
See the collection at Hudson Poole Fine Jewelers, Greensboro Avenue, downtown Tuscaloosa, or at hudsonpoole.com.
Hey, my name is Jared, and this is Matt. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Maple Pepper Bacon Sandwich is that sweet and savory flavor combo. I love the grilled chicken because of how juicy it is. It has that perfect smoked flavor.
And then the crunch of the pickles and the sweet heat that they bring just ties it all together.
And that crispy sweet bacon, it adds so much perfect flavor.
It ties in amazing with the warm, soft bun. You can really taste the sweetness in every bite.
The maple bun is bringing the fun.
Order the Maple Pepper Bacon Sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Available for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Hey, Jen, I just stopped in to say hello. Oh my gosh, look how busy it is in here. How did you get all these customers?
Yeah, this month has been a record breaker for us. For a long time, we had decent business coming in from word of mouth, but we weren't really growing. Lately, though, a lot of new folks have been finding us online, and that's made all the difference.
That's terrific. I wish I could figure out how to do that for my shop, but I have no idea where to start.
Just do what I did. It's not as hard as you think. Go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there are here for businesses like yours.
Okay, then what?
If you see that there are a good number of clients searching in our area, you'll also get some suggestions for the best way to get their attention.
Do you think there are a lot of people searching for my business?
There's only one way to find out. Go to mylocalcustomers.com. It's quick, easy, and free.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many Tuscaloosa customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code SUPPORT, or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off. roundhouseprovisions.com, code SUPPORT.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. We're live, local, and ready to get things rolling right here on your home for Alabama sports. We're so glad that you've chosen to be with us this morning. Want to encourage you to go check out Taco Casa. Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value, under the biggest cactus in town since 1974. 50 years of doing it the right way each and every day. So appreciate you supporting them because they support us. So, and I also don't forget highlighting right now that basketball jersey with the Alabama Script A legacy design. So go check it out, athletesthread.com/collection/Martin-Houston. All right, J-Rob, you're in with Martin and Xavier on the hotline. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning, Martin and X. How y'all doing this morning?
I'm blessed, sir. You
good?
Good. Hey, don't be building Georgia up. Tell them they won 50 in a row. Come on, Martin. They won 29. 29, and it's in between two Alabama losses. Let's don't build them up anymore. They already think very highly of themselves, so don't build them up no more, okay?
Oh, so you're saying that they would have had 50 in a row?
No. Yeah, they probably would have. Yeah, you're right.
They hadn't had to play Alabama.
Exactly.
And
they already think highly of themselves.
And if they had to play Alabama, based on statistics, chances are they wouldn't have won back-to-back. The only time, George, did they – think about this. In the last few times, with Kirby Smart at the helm, when have they beat Alabama? When they got to play Alabama the second time in the same season, in the same season when Alabama lost their two top receivers.
Exactly.
Take out
And
Bowers.
top two DBs.
Huh?
And their top two deep cornerbacks.
We forget about that, don't we?
Yeah, well, the receivers is what we needed that night for sure. That's for sure. But it was that was the only reason they won. I think. And I hate to be Texas, whining and crying about the quarterback getting hurt still, but I think that was
Texas winning
more realistic
when he got hurt.
So what now?
Was Texas winning that game when he got hurt?
Yeah, they were winning like 6-0 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or 3-0 or something like that. It wasn't much.
Did he play defense?
No, he did not.
Well, Georgia beat us because we couldn't score the same way we had scored all year.
Yep, that's right.
That's the difference between the two, but I digress. Go ahead to the Carson Beck Milroe conversation.
Well, I think we're forgetting that head-to-head that Milroe took care of Carson Beck last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't think that what game did he ball in? Tell me a game that he balled in and he was the guy. I don't remember any of those games. But, his statistics are probably
Was there a
pretty
close
good.
game with Missouri last year or the year before?
It was close last year.
They have a hard time with Missouri anyway, for some reason.
Yeah, but
Missouri's beat them.
Yeah. I mean,
a couple of times.
Yeah, but remember, didn't they have a defensive lineman that flipped that game?
Yep.
I mean, it was they were in trouble, and then a defensive lineman either had a pick six or ran it all the way back down.
Yep.
Okay.
It was tough.
Yeah, so that's what
that's
you
the way
look
the
at.
SEC is.
Yeah.
But one more thing, my breakout defensive lineman that you had on your poll, mine's gonna be Jaheim Otis, because Jaheim was hurt last year a lot, and he lost a lot of weight, and I think we need to see him at his real player weight this year and see how he's gonna do. So that's all I got, guys.
Thanks, J-Rob. That's
Okay.
good pick. And hey, listen, we'll carry this conversation over to tomorrow. Of course, we will have some conversation around recruiting and all of that. Let's go to George from Macon. George, you're on as well.
Hey, Martin, thank you so much for taking my call. Yeah, speaking of, Jalen Milroe, I'm so tired of everybody not giving him the respect that he deserves. First off, he didn't really start until the fourth game, so he missed all those first team reps the first three games. And in reality, to me, he is the most electric offensive player in college. And I thought that, in the midseason of last year. And I get so tired of, he can't process. Well, he processed pretty good against Auburn, didn't he? And he certainly was clutch, which no other quarterback was as clutch as he. I mean, in my mind, the only thing he needs to improve on, and he will, sometimes is swing passes and short passing games. So in my mind, I could put him number one.
Easy.
In the SEC. Easy. I mean, look at what he has done.
You're supposed to project off of future.
Right.
The preseason should not be based on what you've done. It should be on the foundation of what you've done, projecting to what you will do in this year. And that's my point. I don't see how you look at the new offensive coordinator, X, the new offensive line, the new receivers, the new weapons, and go that Jalen Milroe game doesn't go to the next level. Plus the fact that he has been the number one guy getting all the first team reps all spring, all summer, and he'll get all of them all fall. Where Coach Saban blew that last year. Okay?
And think about his offensive coordinator last year. That he was garbage. I don't care what anybody.
He didn't want Jalen.
He was terrible. I mean, we had guys who do it all.
So that's another aspect of it.
And then we're talking about Georgia and Alabama. All that is Alabama spies. I mean, everybody wants Alabama to fail, and I get it. You know, when USC was on top for about 4 years, you know, I wanted to see them get beat. And anything that, you know, negative happened to them, I kind of overdid it. But that's all that is.
Absolutely.
And I look for us to have a great year this coming year. In fact, I think we're going to be very good. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, that's interesting. X, you were saying something.
Go ahead.
No. Thanks, George. X, you were saying something about George. I mean, to George in response to.
I mean, you're talking about the way that it was handled, mismanaged all off season. You talk about an offensive coordinator that brought in, quote unquote, his guy, who's now a national champion in lacrosse, and so there's a lot of things that add up. And when you don't want a guy, when your coordinator don't want you, when your head coach is splitting reps. It's a bad start to the season, and once they finally bought all in on Jalen, he showed out time and time again.
I mean, Jalen is the most electric offensive player in the NCAA towards the end of last year and this year. I think he's great. I mean, think about it. Okay, he was super clutch against Auburn. And basically, the last 2 or 3 minutes against Georgia, he iced the game with run. I mean, how much more clutch and how better can you be? I mean, that's kind of my take on it. I am so tired of people saying, well, he can't do this and he can't do that. Well, he can do this and he can't do that, and he's proved it. And that's kind of thank you so much for taking my call. And y'all just have a tremendous day, okay?
Yeah, all right. Thanks, George. Appreciate you, sir. Yeah, X, I know you're going to have to get out of here in a few minutes, but yeah, you know, we'll continue to, like I said, go through this SEC list. What's next up as we finish up this conversation in terms of the 13 guys? Because I mean, I'm going to spend some time on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at Jahad Campbell next. Excuse me, and you look at the performance he had last year as a backup. I mean, that's what people don't really grasp. He wasn't the guy. The other guy at inside linebacker, he was splitting reps with Trezor Marshall, and his impact was felt time and time again throughout the course of the season. And even when you look when
let me ask you
Deontay missed the Kentucky game.
Who was the best linebacker and potentially the best defensive player on the field when Jahad Campbell started?
Jahad Campbell.
Every game he started, he was the leading tackler or he made impact plays. Every time he started, right? So you would assume that him coming back and now getting, if you were to take, I think he started a couple games. If you were to take his statistics from the games he started, I wonder, would he be one of the statistical leaders in the SEC if you multiply that out by the games he played in? He had to be. Right. He would have to be close. So
extremely close.
Yeah, and so that to me, and don't get me wrong, I think Deontay Lawson game goes to the next level because he's talked about not having to think so much, X and play. But Jahad Campbell is Jahad Campbell is among the top inside linebackers. I would say Jahad Campbell will be one of the top. If he leaves this year, will be one of the top draft picks in linebackers out of the SEC. Now, there may be other guys in the country that's better than him, but I would say that Jahad Campbell, size, speed, athletic ability, playmaking ability, he would be one of the top guys. And we're saying he's at least from an inside linebacker standpoint, he's at least the 5th best in the SEC. And that's crazy. To me, that's crazy. So that's what this means from an inside linebacker standpoint. And when you take into the account that there's probably 4 linebackers on the first team, 4 on the second team, and 4, you're saying that he's the 9th best linebacker. So, which is crazy at best. And so I think Jahad Campbell is a guy. that when we flip the script on this conversation, X, which guy do you think will move up? I think Hot Campbell has first team All SEC talent and ability if his production plays out. Closing thoughts before you get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, when you stop and look at it, it's a lot that excuse me, that makes you question how they did it and things of that nature. But we know what these guys can bring to the table, and now they got the opportunity to prove them wrong.
Yep, and that's what we'll talk about as well. We'll keep the All SEC conversation going because there's other things that just jumps out at me. I don't see Jam Miller's name anywhere. Jayden Roberts is a part of what everybody, including PFF, says is the best interior line, and we're saying he's third team in the offensive line situation. And they just put O-line. They don't always go by position. They just go O-line, right? You telling me that it's that many guys you think better than Jayden Roberts? We'll talk about it. You can talk about it with us tomorrow. We'll be back on the other side with our Harvest Church Christian Moment of the Week with Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. If you're traveling along Highway 69 from Middle Erie Road down to McFarland, that's a 6-minute drive. Continuing further south on Lurling Wallace down to 15th Street, another 4 minutes with no big backups or major accidents along the way there. 2059 continues to move nicely, 8 minutes eastbound. If you're traveling from Foster's to McFarland and westbound, Cottondale to the I-359 as well. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Wednesday morning. There's relatively good news if you're headed to the airport in Birmingham this morning. Only one flight is canceled, a Delta flight to New York City. One delayed, an American flight to Philadelphia. Slowly, airlines are getting back to normal after last week's nationwide Microsoft technology shutdown. But there are still complaints from passengers about not being refunded for their canceled flights and lost luggage. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news all throughout the day. It's free. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Coming up Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. on the Gary Harris Show. We're going to talk NASCAR with Matt Coulter. It's been an exciting NASCAR season so far. Alabama football practice only 1 week away on Wednesday. We'll break it down. We'll take your phone calls. We'll have a great discussion on all the things that are happening in the world of sports. That's the Gary Harris Show, Wednesday morning at 9 a.m.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
What's the best position on the wheel? 10 and 2. Townsend Nissan's got the best position for buying a vehicle. $2,000 to $10,000 in discounts now. No other dealer in town can do that. Townsend Nissan.
Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America N.A. Copyright 2024.
Cinderella's Tom Kiefer. Live Loud. 2024. Saturday, August 10th, 8 p.m. Pearl River Resort Silver Star Convention Center. On sale now at pearlriverresort.com. Cinderella's Tom Kiefer. Live Loud.
Are you an oblivious person, hogging the sidewalk like a large dying snail? Do people stuck behind you ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should go to Mattress Firm. They have tons of quality beds at every price. So anyone, even people like you, can sleep. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. Hey, don't forget sponsorship opportunities available, whether it be sponsoring an entire segment, sponsoring the title sponsor, or you can just run a regular spot schedule. Those segment sponsorships start at $200 for the month and up. We would love to communicate with you more detail. Just email Martin at martinhouston.org. It's now time for us to bring in Scotty Hollins, Executive Director, Blueprint Ministries. Good morning, Scotty. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well, man. Glad to have you on. It's time for us to toss it to you, give you time to take us inside the boardroom, the classroom where I chose to field of play of how we can incorporate our faith into the show. The light show.
Awesome. Hey, we've been talking about absolutely. Listen, we've been talking about a series, the friends who love like this. And so what we've talked about is, Jesus provides the best example. John 15:13 says, greater love has no one than this, that you lay down your life for your friend. Jesus laid down his life for us, his friends. And what did that mean? That means he did what was best for us, and it cost him his very life, no matter what it cost him. And so when we talk about friends who love like this, we're talking about friends who love like Jesus. And so we are looking at how can we become friends who love like Jesus. And so just every week here over the last couple of months, we've been just looking at different examples, and we're looking at another one today. Actually, same person, different example, because this guy was such a great example. We're looking at the Apostle Paul. And let me say this, man, when it comes to loving people like Jesus, one of the toughest things, and when I say loving people like Jesus loved, what I mean by that is simply doing what's best for them no matter what it costs you. One of the toughest things to do, Martin, you ready for this, is to share the gospel. Is to tell them about Jesus, because sometimes we believe people may think we're holy rollers. They may say, who are you to tell me? Or we just think they may, they may cut us off. There's a lot of risk when you talk about actually sharing the gospel and sharing with someone who Christ is and how they can come to know him in a real and personal way and have a personal relationship with him. Well, our example today is Paul. He has been arrested for sharing the gospel, and he is he is about to go before King Agrippa. King Agrippa gives him permission. He says, "Hey, Paul, you have permission to speak." And this is Acts chapter 26. And King Agrippa basically says, "Hey, man, go for it." Paul starts talking, and if you think about it, man, most people would say, "How do I get myself out of this? I've been arrested for preaching the gospel. This guy could pretty much kill me if he wants. Why don't I just kind of squirm my way out of this?" Paul didn't take that approach. Why? Because Paul was a friend who loved like Jesus. He was a friend who was willing to do what was best for the person he was loving. And he didn't even know King Agrippa, Martin. He didn't know him, but he says, "I want to love King Agrippa and do what's best for him, no matter what it costs me, even if it costs me my life." Paul he proceeds to share the gospel. He shares his personal testimony, actually. He says, "Hey, man, I'm going to share it briefly." He says, "Hey, you know my life before Christ. Like, before I started talking about this Jesus, man, he says, look, I was actually killing Christians, and I was on my way to kill some more of them. And then Jesus appeared to me, and he commissioned me to go and share the gospel." Here's the point. Paul's trying to make sure, he's trying to make sure that Agrippa knows. He's like, if you're going to listen to anybody about this message, it should be me, because I'm the one who was really trying to kill Christians. I was the one. I was more zealous against Christ than you were, King Agrippa. But here's what he says. He says, "Listen, he appeared to me. I am now called and commissioned to preach his message." And so there's a guy that is named Festus who was hanging out with Agrippa. He's another dignitary, and he says, "Man, hey, Agrippa," he says, "this guy's he's crazy. He's out of his mind." And Paul says, "Hey, I'm not out of my mind. I'm telling the truth." And he says, "And I'm not even talking to you, buddy." but here's the point, and the way it ends. Here's the way it ends. It ends with Paul, with Agrippa saying, "Listen, this man has done nothing wrong, and he could be released, but he's appealed to Caesar." You want to know why he appealed to Caesar, Martin? Because he wanted to share the gospel with Caesar as well. He wanted to share his testimony and the gospel with Caesar. Paul didn't want to get away. Paul didn't want to get off the hook. Paul wanted to preach the gospel and to do what was best for everyone he came in contact with, no matter what it cost him. And it would eventually cost him his life. He was beheaded for preaching the gospel.
Yeah. Wow. That's so awesome. Scotty, I preached a message Sunday. It was about how love and compassion is intertwined, and then how that leads to forgiveness, forgiving people who've hurt you. And the point I made was that love is predetermined. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son when? While we were yet sinners. So he wasn't waiting on a condition. He wasn't waiting on a condition. And so he predetermined that he would forgive, right? And then but it was compassion that caused him to release the love. So if you don't have compassion, you can't, no one will receive the love or the forgiveness. And so what I taught them was to ask God to give them the capacity to have compassion the way he does. And when you do that, you predetermine that. In the other part I asked for, let us be able to see the condition the way he saw our condition, because it wasn't the person that caused him to love, it was our condition. So when Paul, even though Paul could have been beheaded, he looked and saw Agrippa and Caesar's condition, because he saw their condition. He's already asked for God to help him to love the way he loved and compassion the way he could. He didn't have a choice. Wow. And so if we will decide that we're gonna walk in the capacity of compassion that God has, and walk in and be able to see the condition the way he does, we don't even get a choice in the situation. You ever walked in somewhere, Scotty, and you didn't even know a person, didn't know anything was going on, and when you saw the condition, your heart immediately released love and you wanted to help them? That's it.
Absolutely. That's it. That's powerful.
To see their condition. And then the last thing really quick, Scotty, is we look at two of the greatest leaders in Alabama being Bryce Young and Will Anderson. Did they do a lot of talking? No. But they did a whole lot of leading. So
they did that.
Sometimes you preach with your words. More often you preach with the way you live, love, and show compassion. So,
amen.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Hey, tell them where they can find you, sir.
Absolutely. You can go to www.blueprinttuscaloosa.com. You can send me a message there, and it comes straight to my email.
Hey, man, that's Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries. You want to have somebody come in and minister love and hope and life to your people? Reach out to Scotty Hollins. One more time, tell them where they can find you, Scotty.
Yep, www.blueprinttuscaloosa.com.
All right. Hey, as we get out of here, I want to thank you so much for being a part of the program with the Martin Houston Show. We'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, and we want you to join the conversation. Tell your family and friends about it. We'll be back with some OT on tomorrow as we'll keep the conversation rolling. We're going to pick up with SEC Media Days. Go to Facebook and check out the Martin Houston Show on Facebook and vote on the poll, and we'll add that question to the conversation as well. Trust in the Lord always. Lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Roll Tide, everybody. We'll catch you on tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama.